Hello students, this video is for BBA second year students and we will discuss the subject called BEBL. So dear students, in the last video we have seen the meaning of environmental analysis. So in today's video we will discuss another important question of business environment, that is process of environmental analysis. So the environmental analysis and its study is highly essential for understanding the process of environmental analysis. We will discuss the process, but before going to the process of environmental analysis, what is environmental analysis? Just giving few highlights of the last class. Remember students, the study of environmental analysis is very essential for us simply because environment is dynamic. Environment is always dynamic. It means that environment always keeps on changing from time to time. So one must carefully understand what are those changes that usually takes place surrounding our business, and also we must plan accordingly for giving in competence with the global changes. On the other hand, if we do not make an environmental analysis, if we will not change ourselves according to the changing environment, then no doubt a day will come where our business will be one step back as compared to our competitors. So it is very essential to understand the environment and its impact on the business. Remember students, under environmental analysis, we are identifying the relative changes that takes place in our business organization. So the first thing of the manager or the analyst is to identify those changes that usually takes place in our organization. After identifying, we will move towards the next processes. So but the first thing that is required for us is to understand the changes that takes place. Remember, some changes affect the organization positively, whereas some changes affect our organization negatively also. It is not always necessary that every changes that takes place will definitely going to put a negative impact or definitely going to put a positive impact on the organization. Depending upon the situation, depending upon the condition, some environmental forces may positively affect our organization, whereas some other factors may adversely affect our organization. So we must make a clear distinction between the positive changes as well as the negative changes also. So environmental process is nothing but identifying those changes that usually takes place and which puts a impact on the organization. This is all about the meaning of environmental analysis. The meaning of environmental analysis. So what it says, it is just the basic duty of the analyst is to identify those changes that usually takes place near to our organization. Now, the environmental analysis has got certain objectives. What are those objectives? objectives of environmental analysis. So the objectives can be laid down as follows. So the objectives of the environmental analysis, the first point tells us helps in understanding the existing environment. So by making a proper environmental analysis, we always able to make a benefit of understanding the existing business or existing environment. See, every person is having one environment. You are also having one environment right now, where where you sit right now, where you watch the video, your walls, your surrounding. Maybe you sit or maybe you stand accordingly. So you have your own environment. Similarly, I have my also own environment. Nobody in the world can go beyond its environment. So just like that, the business also is having its own environment. Now the objectives or the first objective of environmental analysis is that it always helps the organization in understanding its existing environment, where the business is at present right now, where the business is right now, what are its key activities, at what position does the business stand right now. These are the key factors that the manager need to be analyzed, because understanding the existing organization or understanding the existing environment is highly essential. What we are making right now, what should be the changes, what should be the changes will be possible only when we properly understand what the business or where the business is right now, or what is the existing or environment where the business is going through. Because only when we are making a proper analysis of the present data, then only our changes or the required changes that need to be done can be easily fulfilled. Because only when we understand where our environment right now, then only we can make certain changes. So it is very essential for us to understand the existing environment where our business operates, where our business operates. Then the second objective is that provision of data for strategic planning. Provision of data for strategic planning. Now, dear students, the analyst who makes the environmental analysis, I am just calling as the analyst. It may be the manager, it may be the owner, or it may be certain other person as appointed by the business. So the common word that we use in today's video is the analyst. Analyst is a person who does the environmental analysis. We call him as analyst. He may be or she may be an employee, a manager or a manager, an owner, or even separate person. So we call him as analyst. Now the analyst should always make proper provision of data for strategic planning. The first thing that the analyst need to require or need to collect is the data. Is the data regarding changes, data regarding the environmental changes. Data is nothing but collecting the information from the different sources, make a market survey or make a research, then convert the raw data into valuable information so that the information can easily be used for various strategic planning or strategic planning. So the collection of data is highly essential for every analyst. Every analyst should have a close look on what are the sources where the data regarding the environmental changes can be collected or can be used. So first the analyst required to understand the existing environment as discussed in point number 1, then make various provisions for data for strategic planning, because strategy formulation is highly essential for every organization. Strategy formulation is highly essential because only when we formulate a strategy for the business, then we can run our business for fulfillment or achievement of that particular strategy. So the analyst should always try to collect as much data as possible regarding the environmental changes. Then third thing comes formulating various strategies for the business. Formulation of different strategies. What this one says? Formulate different strategies for the business. Remember students, formulating different strategies for the business is always highly essential. As I discussed in point number 2, that after collecting the data, the strategy should be clearly implemented. The strategy should be clearly implemented. Then only our organization can easily grow and easily achieve huge amount of success. So the various objectives or the various advantages of the environmental analysis are these three, where the first point says that understanding the existing environmental analysis. Second point tells us making various provisions of data for strategic planning, and the third thing tells us formulating different strategies for the business. Then the business can easily grow and avoid huge amount of success. Now we will discuss the environmental process or the process of environmental analysis, because the process of environmental analysis will be properly understood only when we understand the meaning of environmental analysis as well as the objectives of environmental analysis. So now it will be much easier for you to understand the process of environmental analysis. Let's start. dear students, the very important aspects that we discussed right now, the process of environmental analysis. The process of environmental analysis. First thing, collection of necessary information. First point tells us collection of necessary information. Now, the collecting the necessary information is the first step. Is the first step in environmental analysis. Collecting the necessary information is the first process involved in the environmental analysis. So the person who does the work of analyzing the data called as the analyst. The analyst, it is the primary duty of the analyst to collect the information, or you may say necessary information, those are required for the business or which are required for our organization. Then after collecting the necessary information, it always helps observation of various factors also. In the first step, the analyst need to collect the necessary information. Then the analyst needs to observe various factors that surrounding to our business. Such factors, the students, as I repeatedly said in every class, such factors or observation of such factors. It means such factors always include the things like economical changes, political changes, financial changes, legal changes, demographic changes, etc. So making analysis of different changes that usually takes place surrounding our business is the key role of the analyst. We have to go through what are the political changes, legal changes, economical changes, financial changes, technological changes, demographic changes very carefully and in a detailed manner. So first, our process of environmental include collection of necessary information as well as observation of the various factors. Next, second point tells us so. The second process includes scanning and scrutinizing of information. Scanning and scrutinizing the information. Remember, dear students, scanning and scrutinizing of the information is one of the major technique of every business. Every business should go through the process of scanning and scrutinizing the information in a very detailed manner. Now, the data that is so collected at point number one, the information that is so collected at point number 1 may have positive effect or even negative effect. So the information may put either positive effect and negative effect. There are certain changes which positively affect the organization. The changes will put a positive effect on the organization. On the other hand, there are certain changes which puts negative impact on the organization or adverse impact, you may also say, in the organization. So in the process of scanning, we should always make a proper distinction between the positive effect and the negative effect. What are the changes that positively affect our organization? What are the changes that negatively affect our organization? Now, accordingly, we will take the decision. So, under the scanning and scrutinizing process, we will scrutinize the information and make a distinction between the positive impact and the negative impact. Monitoring. The third process of environmental analysis includes monitoring. What does it indicate? Dear students, as point number 2, we have just discussed right now that there are certain data which positively affect our organization, as well as there are certain data which put negative impact on our organization. So under monitoring, or in the, you may also say, monitoring is nothing but the getting information process. It is nothing but the, what you can say, getting information process. Getting the information. Now, under monitoring, so the monitoring process is also known as getting the information, and in this process we may also exclude the data which puts negative impact, We will exclude such factors. We try to exclude such factors which puts negative impact, because if we adopt those changes, then it will adversely or negatively affect our organization, which may lead to loss for the organization. So in order to get the success, or in order to achieve the success, we must accept those factors which positively impact our organization, So under third stage, the monitoring stage, the data that is so collected in point number 2, we will exclude, or we may make a proper distinction, or we will go through the information, because this process is also known as getting the information. We will go through the information in a very careful manner or in a very detailed manner, and exclude those data which will put negative impact, and always try to include those data which always put positive effect on the organization. That's because then only our organization can able to achieve success on the future. Otherwise, it may lead to loss. So getting the information tells us that we will go through the information in a very detailed manner. Forecasting. Dear students, this process is related to this process or the process of forecasting is related to plan for the future. Now there are certain data which were related to the past also, but we will exclude the past data because past is already gone. Try to understand the point very carefully. Under the process of forecasting, the data are of two types: past data and future data. Past data we will exclude because the past data, even though positive or even negative, were gone. There is no role for the past data. But the future data, the future which is upcoming very soon, we should always forecast the future in a very planned manner and make various strategies, or you may also say making of a strategic planning is highly essential for getting success on the future, because ultimately the result of or the objective or the aim of the process of environmental analysis is to achieve success on the future. So this step, that is forecasting, is highly essential for the business. So under the process of forecasting, we will forecast the future and make various strategic planning so that our future will be secure, and on a future period of time our business will definitely able to achieve the good results. How our business can achieve good results? Only with writing on a pen and paper? No. We should plan and work on the methods and the policies. You may also say we should work on the policies that is so forecasted right now. So only when we have a proper forecasting method, only when we have proper forecasting the future, then only we will work. It means the business can work accordingly, and on the future the business can easily able to get the success. So from this sentence, it is quite clear that for achieving success on the future, the analyst need to forecast the future right now. Need to forecast the future right now and must plan accordingly. And always plan accordingly. Make various strategic planning for securing the future or for achieving success on the future. So strategic planning is highly essential for an analyst also. Assessment. Dear students, assessment is the last process in the environmental analysis. So the assessment is nothing but identifying and evaluating the right path that will work towards fulfillment of the changes that is going to take place on the future. What assessment process tells us? Assessment process tells us identifying and evaluating the data. So under the process of assessment, we will make the identification and evaluating or evaluation of the data that will work towards the changes that is going to take place in the upcoming future. So identify the changes, evaluate the changes, evaluate the impact. Evaluation is nothing but in what way the changes that will affect our organization, or what is the percentage, or you may also explain in that manner also what is the percentage of the changes that will put an impact to our organization, if it will, or whether it will put a huge impact or it will put a negligible impact. So identifying the changes, evaluating the changes that is going to take place on the future is highly essential for success of every business. Now the assessment process also tells us that we should have a clear-cut plan towards fulfillment of our goals also. Fulfillment towards the changes that takes place, that may be due to political factors, that may be due to economical factors, and at the end financial factors. So all the factors we must need to clearly identify and make a proper scrutiny and also evaluate. Again repeating, evaluation is nothing but in what way, in what percentage, or on what percentage the changes that will be happen on the future have a impact on our business. Either it will, whether it will put a huge impact or whether it will put a negligible impact. So understanding and identifying, or you may also say evaluating the changes that takes place on the future is highly essential for every analyst. So dear students, these are the 5 different processes of environmental analysis. So in today's video we have seen, number 1, the meaning of environmental analysis. Second, objectives of environmental analysis. There are 3 objectives of environmental analysis, and we have also seen the process of environmental analysis. There are 5 different processes of environmental analysis. This or today's topic is very important from exam point of view. One long question may come from this or today's topic. So go through today's video very carefully. Note down the notes that I will just send you after the video is over, and if there is any kind of doubt relating to today's topic, we will discuss it in the next Google Meet session. Try to attend the Google Meet session more positively. That's it in today's video. Thank you, students.